Good morning. It's December the 3rd, 2015. Time to kick off another trading day, and we have big news today. Today's news focus is the ECB, and they took their interest rate to minus 0.3%, which is in line with expectations. QE to be announced at 8:30 Eastern, but my guess is that probably will get the 10 billion bucks per month increase in euros. We have other news. We have jobless claims this morning, 270. PMI services at 54.8. Factory orders plus 1.4. That'll be a part of the Fed's formula to raise interest rates, which looks like a given now. I mean, Yellen pretty much came out and defended the next rate move by the Fed for 2 hours yesterday. A big number, 58.2 for ISM services. We do have a recession official now, pretty much official in manufacturing. Natural gas inventories, minus 22 BCF. So the news focus is the European Central Bank and its impact on equities, and equities have rallied off the idea that they would cut rates and increase QE. So the second leg, increasing QE, we won't know till 8:30 Eastern. Jobless claims 270. If that comes in much below 265, it increases the Fed's ability to raise interest rate. Not that they need that. PMI services, they won't pay any attention to. The European PMI services was off 0.2. So that still shows economic contraction. Factory orders dominated by transportation. If as forecast would allow the Fed to raise interest rates. ISM services at 58.2 would allow the Fed to raise interest rates. Natural gas inventories, no one cares outside of the natural gas traders. So what do we have right here? We have a B from yesterday. We had volume right here. Volume has moved lower. You can see that the market needs volume in this area right here. It is definitely a B when we look at the overnight activity. So sell 1 is 19 to 23. Sell 2. Like to do it a little higher. I think if we get through this 26 area, that we're headed back up to the buck, so we'll make it 27.31. But leaning against 27 would be sell 2. On the buy side, 9 to 13. 9's a better buy than 13. And then 1 to 5 for buy 2. And that will do it for the 10-year. Looking at the 30-year, knob spread came in a little overnight, which is to be expected when the markets sell. They see it first in the 30-year. Definitely a B. You can tell by looking at yesterday's distribution that we had more volume down here than we did up here. So definitely a B. Market is poised to trade lower. So we've got yesterday's low at 11. We've got a low at 55.07, it looks like. Market's trying to trade lower, so I think we can head lower. So 9 to 13 will pick up yesterday's low, this area right here, buy 1. And then 29 to 1 for buy 2. On the sell side, 27 to 31. 7 to 11, sell 2. And I think with tomorrow's non-farm payroll number, the ADP number came in much higher than forecast. They were looking at 190. That number could come in north of 200. If it does, that would further the Fed's case that everything is fine, everything is good, ready to raise interest rates. So right now, based on Yellen's testimony yesterday and what she will probably reinforce today, the Fed is raising interest rates no matter what on the 16th of December. That does, I mean, just think about right now, negative interest rates in Europe. I think 40% of the offerings out there in Europe right now, bond, government paper, sovereign debt, trading at a negative interest rate. You like to get something on your money, and it's going to be pretty hard not to see the euro sold and treasuries and anything else in the United States bought. Two ways to make money. Number one, you get paid something on your money, and number two, the dollar appreciation. Okay, looking at gold, we came in last night wanting to buy basically 45 to 50. It still looks reasonable. So we'll make this 48 to 50 buy one, and then 43, 45. Let them get stops below the overnight session low. Last rotate up was 56. I mean, so we're right here. 55, 57, sell one. 60, 62, sell two. And it took about 2 weeks for them to get stops below 50, 1050, and they finally did it. But we saw that coming, and we talked about it almost daily. So people always ask, are you just day traders? No. We know where the market's going, and we do a pretty good job of picking out where support and resistance will actually be based on the market structure. And the reason some of the biggest names in the world did business with little old Charlie in Wichita, Kansas was precisely because of those insights. I knew where to place buy and sell orders better than their own departments and own floor brokers could do, because of my knowledge of structure. And the best players, the biggest players, those that have to invest for much longer trading horizons than we do, they really key on it. Well, here's your whipsaw off of the ECB rate announcement. So we've got stops below 105, which we thought was coming. We talked about that. And right now, so we've gone from 105 to damn near 107, a $2,000 swing. We left last night saying we wanted to get short in that 106.25 area before the rate announcement, and if that before we had the news whipsaw, the market had traded down to 105.50, so that was 50 plus ticks for you if you traded it that way. You never know quite what's going to happen, but that's a hell of a news whipsaw. So where might the market be headed? If there's no QE additions to QE, that means these guys don't have to print as much money, so it can trade up. Rumor fact situation, people cover their shorts, but this market can really bring very, very wide swings. Here we have an outside day, so 107 plus 105 minus is where we are right now, so selling into 107. If we get through that, 107 and a quarter, we get through that, 107.50. So that 107, 107.50 is prime sell territory. And if they add to QE, we should be lower off of that. So where do you place your buy and sell orders in a market like this? 107, 107 and a quarter. On the buy side, the breakout came from 106.50, so I'll put 106 and a quarter. I don't like the long side. I think it is headed lower, as me and the rest of the world think that. Haven't been proven wrong yet. Okay, crude oil. Some rumors out there that Saudi Arabia is going to raise the price of their oil. Now, the bottom falls out of crude, and I've been through this 3 times live and 1 time vicariously. They protect and fight market share by discounting. If you got 25% of the market, somebody tries to undercut you. What you quietly do with all your purchasers is tell them it will match any price or will beat any price. And that's how the bottom falls out of the market. So Saudi Arabia has got about 25% of that OPEC stuff, and they're not going to give that up. So if Saudi Arabia does raise their prices, which is hard, it's hard for me to see that happening given the world's economic conditions right now, if they want to maintain market share and not cut their production, it's going to be a hard move to pull off, with everybody else treating around the margins, which is what drives Saudi Arabia crazy. So here we are, basically 41. That's where the move started from. So 40.75, 41, sell 1, subject to 41.50, 41.75, sell 2, subject to news whips, rumors out of Vienna. 39.75, 40, buy 1, and 39 and a quarter, 39.50, buy 2. My guess is that OPEC will leave their official quotas unchanged, because it's a deal that's already in place. It doesn't have to be negotiated, and then they'll continue to do business as usual, which is the history of that organization. They do act in their own self-interest to a point, as long as you follow Saudi Arabia. And if you don't follow Saudi Arabia, they will move to protect themselves. Okay, Draghi speaks in 29 minutes, and that's when the markets will be looking for additions to QE. And we'll separate Y out. Actually, X is what we should separate out, because that picked up the ECB rate announcement. And you can see that because QE was not announced, that the market did sell. So where did it stop? Listen, folks, this is why this information is important. You know where the market's going before the fact. And this is the volume most recent in the market's memory. Announcement makes it, hits it, goes right to volume. The best place for a resting limit buy or sell is against these volume numbers. Most recent in the market's memory take precedence over what we have over here. So we will key off of this number and that number, but the number that we're going to place our orders against is right there and right there. So they're looking for another, and I'll go back and see if we have any new news. ECB cuts deposit rate. Draghi to announce further measures. Euro hits a 8-day high after ECB rate cuts, so rumor fact trading situation. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens at 8:30 Eastern. So we have news today that will impact the trading. The ECB QE at 8:30. Yes or no? If they don't add to it, stocks will sell. If they do add to it, the stocks are already high and should continue to rally. Jobless claims, 270. PMI services, 54.8. Factory orders, plus 1.4. Discounted for transportation. ISM services, big number, 58.2. That number could come in lower than forecast. And natural gas inventory, minus 22 BCF. So, ECB, that's number 1. ISM services, number 2. And we'll see what happens. So, our first sell, kind of right here in the middle, is this 93, 95. And again, we'll have to come back in after Draghi speaks and adjust these numbers. And then 99 to 01. On the buy side, 80 to 83. And 75, 77. So 75 to 80 is probably reasonable support right now. 2100, 2105 is probably where resistance is. And we will have to adjust after Draghi picks up the mic. Going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. Going to get busy on that. I will be back with you as soon as possible. And we'll see what Draghi says in 25 minutes. In a few.